Hey, what is up guys? Gitarok here, welcome back to another Blue Archive video. So let's talk about the fast banner coming this week. We got 3 options for a lot of players, and you guys might be wondering who is going to be the best one for you. Is it going to be Hoshino Battle? Is it going to be Shiroko Terror? Or is it going to be Mika? So I do have a bias towards Mika a little bit, but hopefully in this particular video, I'll try to break down for you guys and give you guys a better idea on who is going to be the best student ideally you want to get for the fast banner. Now, preferably, if you can afford to, you want to get all 3 of them. But I get it, sometimes we have bad luck, sometimes pity, or you can't really spark, because to basically spark a student is going to be 24,000 pyroxenes, and that is going to be extremely expensive. And maybe you want to go overboard, maybe you want to save a little bit for the students later on, maybe you want to save for Kisaki that will be coming later on, which I do think is a good choice, or maybe you want to save for the bunny girls if you're trying to collect them as well. So there's plenty of things to consider as well. However, the fast students are going to be extremely strong meta-wise, and hopefully in this video, we can break down a little bit for you guys and talk a little bit more about where they are constantly being used at, and maybe you guys can try and plug and play depending on who you have. This video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and SHIROKO. These two are snack boxes that holds various snacks and treats exclusive from Japan. Now let's first start off with Tokyo Treat. It's an exclusive Japanese snack subscription box filled with limited edition Kit Kats, specially flavored Japanese cheap seasonal treats, and of course occasional Japanese sodas. They are only available in Japan for a limited time. So every single month, they have different monthly themes, and this month, of course, we're gonna have New Year's treatings. It's currently the year of 2025. Happy New Year from Tokyo Treat, of course. You get to celebrate Oshogatsu, which is Japanese New Year, with a festive box full of sweet and savory Japanese snacks. Now as you can see, it comes with the Kit Kat strawberry chocolate cake, Hokkaido smoked butter chips, matcha ao lei drink, and of course many more. SHIROKO is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local snack makers across Japan. Each box comes with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese teas and Japanese tableware. This month's SHIROKO theme is New Year's in Japan. It comes with traditional Japanese sweets and savory treats, symbolizing hope, luck, and prosperity for the year ahead. As you can see, the box comes with New Year's, senbei, strawberry daifuku, red and white plum kohakuto, yuzu shiroku, biscuits, and it all perfectly pairs with the yuzu sencha tea. And of course, it comes with a very unique tableware that I've never seen before, the Nishijin Ori coaster, which is a traditional Japanese fabric coaster. Very interesting design. If you guys are interested to purchase any of the Tokyo Treat or SHIROKO box, I do recommend Tokyo Treat boxes. That's my personal favorite, just because I'm a big fan of the Kit Kats, right? And if any of you are interested, use my referral link in the description below and use code GITAROK for $5 off. With that being said, let's jump into today's video. Now first things first, I want to talk about Mika as a whole, because she is already in the game and she does have this rerun coming. Alright, so rerun is basically where she shines. Now Mika is a very strong student for a lot of players out there who are looking to tackle a yellow type. Alright, so if you're tackling any yellow raids, piercing type raids, she is going to be very strong. What makes her super good is going to be this particular skill where the damage is going to increase in proportion to the target's current HP. Alright, the higher the target's HP, the higher the damage. Again, if you're fighting bosses, this is where she does a ton of damage, which is insane. And she also can do additional skill or damage on basic skill. Alright, she increased her piercing effectiveness and also a sub skill, guaranteed crits. So she is going to crit constantly. She's a very strong character. Very easy to build. Where she shines also is not just of her damage capabilities. She is known as the gorilla. Alright, you have heard this term before, Mika the gorilla. The reason is because if you see right here, in a lot of the situation where you basically use Mika or try to use her against a boss, she basically goes to the front. Alright, most other DPS characters or damage dealer characters, they don't go to the front and tank for you, but Mika does. So you are pretty much investing in like a I don't recommend using her like as a sole dedicated defender or a tank, but she can do that for you. Alright, she basically is pretty tanky. She always goes to the front. She's not too bad for PvP as well. Decent value right there. So she is more flexible than a lot of people give her credit for. Now in JP server, right now they are going to have their fest soon as well, and then there's going to be the student Neru or uniform Neru that will somewhat compete with her in terms of single target for the piercing type students, but up until now there's just no competition for a lot of players, right? Right now if you look at the list of other options for single target piercing type, the closest one probably is going to be Dress Kayoko. Now if you have that, good for you. So if you have Dress Kayoko, maybe you can get away with not having Mika, but then Mika seems to be very crucial in a lot of the higher end raids if you're looking to tackle most of the harder raids, because you ideally need two teams, right? For example, HOD, Hovercraft Wakamo, you need your own Mika, and then you need to borrow someone's Mika. You usually need two Mikas, alright, in most cases to try to compete in the high-end raids. Now, if you're trying to basically pull for meta, I do highly recommend Mika. She's going to be very, very strong. Hopefully, she spooks you early. I think she should be the priority for most players, unless, again, like I mentioned, if you have Dress Kayoko, maybe you can get away with not having Mika, but Dress Kayoko is a little bit harder to use, because if she gets hit in combat, usually if the boss have AoE skill, she will lose her effectiveness, somewhat, and her damage will be a bit lacking. But other than that, again, Mika very, very strong. One thing that you need to pay attention to is Mika's team or partner. Right now, her two best partner is going to be Ui. Alright, again, very, very strong character that gives cost reduction because Mika's cost is quite high, being 6 cost. So Ui is going to be quite crucial. And another one is going to be New Year Fuuka. She is a limited character, however, right? But she is going to be very crucial if you want to pair or team up with Mika and give her even more leverage, right? That's where she's going to shine even more. So these two students pretty much is going to be one of the better students to pair with. And also if you have Swimsuit Ui as well, the piercing effectiveness is going to be very strong. Now once Seiya comes, then I think that role may shift a little bit. Ui might be replaced by Seiya, so hopefully you guys look out for her as well. I do think that right now Seiya just came out in JP, right? Mika might shine even more. You most likely will be able to get even more mileage out of her. So definitely she is going to have the benefit right there. So Mika is confirmed a very, very strong character. I feel like if you pull for her, you won't regret for her. So let's talk about the other two, right? Now these are the students that we don't have yet. First time they are going to appear, and that's going to be Hino Battle and Shiroko Terra. Let's first cover Hino Battle. So she is going to be a bit complicated. She's a tank front. She can basically have two moods, right? She's a mystic student, heavy on the defense type. So right here you can see she has two skills. One can be a tanker, one can be an attacker, right? Depending on how you want to use her. So when she becomes a tanker, she can basically move to a specified location and she can basically raise a shield to help you defend against attacks. Alright, this is going to be useful, for example, right here. In this situation, this is exactly how you want to use her. When you want to try to protect your allies against like Shirokuro, right here you can see. Alright. So this is going to be where you activate her skill, and you can see she can defend against the balls coming at you. It bounces back, right? So you can basically use her to do that. Now, do you really need this? Probably not. You can actually move your students around with like Tracksuit Yuka. There's a lot of other students that can do that, but to be able to shield your allies is kind of cool, right? Because they don't lose damage. They stay there and constantly shoot and fire the shots against the enemy. In this case, Shirokuro. So that's going to be one of the places where she shines as well, right? Again, she has damage reduction right here. Alright, reduce damage taken. She has the ability to increase attack and HP. And 20% chance to reduce target's defense as well. So if you can use this, pretty good. But in my humble opinion, where she shines more is going to be in the attacker mode. Now this one is a little bit expensive at 6 costs, but one of the hardest bosses to tackle right now is going to be Perorot Zilla, which is this particular one. So this is where you can see she shines a lot. So you can see this amount of damage right here, AoE, very, very strong. Alright, Perorot Zilla is where she is going to shine. Let's look at her jumping in right here. So you ideally want to use her with cost reduction character, and then jump in and fire a number of shots right there. So not too bad, alright? So decent damage right there. Ideally you want to buff her in advance before going all in. Now for 6 cost, she basically does damage in the circular area, right? And then you can see it does even more damage when you know, the ammo reload. Her firing range and critical damage increase right here, and all her attacks is going to ignore 85% of the enemy's defense. Pretty good right here as well. So she is going to carry you in terms of AoE. Alright, if you need an AoE character or AoE students, I do think that she is going to shine in that particular sense. And also right here you can see later on in JP they already have this, but in global we're going to have the Kurokage Grand Assault, where she also shines right here. You can see she is able to target the boss in all the parts, because this Kurokage boss is going to require AoE students, and she's just going to fire out right there. Very, very strong. Alright, so she is going to help you in a lot of AoE scenario. If you are lacking in AoE students right now, then I highly recommend her. She's going to shine right there. So the truth is, if you look at the options that we have, again, this is going to depend on who you have, right? Now I think the best AoE blue mystic type student is going to be Chise, because she's free, she's 2-star, a lot of players have access to her. Now one more student is going to be New Year Musuki. However, New Year Musuki is going to be much more expensive, and she is limited as well. So she is 2 costs, expensive in terms of she's harder to get because limited, and you have to wait for her to rerun, right? If you don't have her. But these are the other 2. Hino Battle is probably going to be above both of these, right? We don't really have much students that can also do AoE. Right now, if for Perorozilla, I think most players are going to rely on Hinata. But I think once she comes, once Battle to Hoshino comes, I don't think players are going to use Hinata anymore. Again, she's a very, very strong character, but I still think Mika should be the priority if I were to compare between these 2. While I think she's strong, she does have quite a lot of alternatives actually. If you have Hinata, there's a chance that you can get away with not having her, or you can borrow her when you need her, right? Because I do think that Mika is going to be harder to borrow, because there's a lot of situations where you are going to need 2 Mika in a lot of raids. So the other AoE options includes Swimsuit Koharu. She's a welfare character. Bani Asuna, I believe you can buy some of her shards right here for free as well. So she's also another AoE blue student that if you need, she should be available right here. So as you can see, her LF can be purchased right there. So we have all of these options. Now of course I am aware that you ideally want to get her to give you the best damage to compete in the higher end rates, but I'm just giving you option. There's definitely some other alternatives out there, but they are definitely weaker as well. Alright, Shiroko Terror, let's talk a little bit more about her. Now she is going to be a little bit finicky. Alright, she's definitely much more difficult to use because she shines in the Fury of Set. Alright, if you play Fury of Set a lot, that is where she's going to be very, very strong right there. Now if you don't care about Fury of Set, because Fury of Set don't really give you any pulls, it doesn't give pyroxenes, it doesn't give any tickets. I get it that some players don't really want to invest too much there, but that's where she shines, because Fury of Set, EX skill, basically the damage is reduced, which is why the normal skill is going to be an advantage. That's where she shines. You can see right here, she summons a drone, and then her normal attack will do even more damage during that period. She has critical rate and critical damage increase. You can see right here, every 40 seconds she's going to do this damage 704%, increase to 902%, right? So her mystic efficiency also increased on the sub skill by almost 50%, and she has this ability to prevent herself from basically retreating from the battle when she reach HP below 1%, so she doesn't die. You can basically try to heal her to basically give you a little bit of leeway to know that, okay, now you can basically try to recover her HP. So she's good in that sense. Now, where does she shine in the raid situation, right? Right now you can see, in terms of her best boss that she shines in is probably going to be Gauss. You can see against Gauss right here, she is going to do a lot of damage. You basically use Hoshino and Shiroko Terror right here. Let me see if I can show you the damage. Yep, she's going to be the main damage dealer right there. This is a 2-team strat, right? You got 2 Shiroko Terror, and Shiroko Terror is just going to carry you on the first team and on the second team. So again, she's good right here. And also, if you're looking to tackle, this is going to be Kaiten, right? So in Kaiten, it's a little bit weird. You don't really use her as the main DPS. You use her more as a sub DPS. that's where she basically shines most of the time. With the exception of Gauss, most other situation in most raids, she shines more as a sub DPS just because of how she works as a whole, right? Her concept is she doesn't basically deal damage with her EX skill, she deals damage with a normal skill. And this is not something that you can control, this does depend on the duration of the time, right? So that's why you see right here in this particular strat, we got Maid Ares going in, alright? Maid Ares is the one carrying this particular boss, and then a Shiroko Terror would be the sub DPS in this case, right? Again, Maid Ares, Wakamo, those are still going to be very strong. So in the blue Mystic damage dealer area, there's definitely a lot of alternatives that compete with her in terms of rate, right? And then you can see right here, this is going to be for Bina in the JP server right now. You can see they don't even use her and they use Wakamo instead. So Wakamo is still probably going to be, you know, might be even better in some situations depending on how you're doing it, right? So again, Shiroko Terror is, I feel like if you are a new player, she might probably have the least value. She basically shines more for endgame players because of Fury of Sand. So that's going to be where her value is going to be there. However, if you're pulling her because you love Shiroko, then go for it, right? But I do think that if you care about meta, Hino Battle is probably going to shine more in most of the raids because Perozilla is going to be a little bit tough, and also Shirokuro as well. So if you ask me my honest opinion, I'm going to prioritize on Mika as number 1, Hoshino Battlesuit on number 2, and of course Shiroko Terror number 3. Now of course, ideally you still want to get all 3 if you can. With that, good luck. Hopefully you guys are able to get all the students because I think all of them are really strong and they should be able to carry you. These are the strongest students usually that they will release every 6 months. And then make sure you guys save for Kisaki, and of course the fast students that are coming later on 6 months from now. So yeah, with that being said, that's gonna be it for this particular video. Let me know what you guys think and who are you guys planning to get. With that, I'll see you guys for viewer pools tomorrow. Stay tuned, take care, subscribe, give this video a like, have a nice day, goodbye.